The Miami Heat have already stolen game one from the Boston Celtics. Could they get greedy and go to Boston and get two as well? Celtics Heat Eastern Conference Finals game two. Early on, Tatum said, look, I'm just going to put my squad on my back and get it done. He nails the three. And then Derek White, beautiful ball movement, leads to a corner pocket three from D. White. How about Malcolm Brogdon going glass? Just like that, it's Boston with the double-digit lead. But who's guarding Caleb Martin? Clearly nobody in half number one. How about Martin? A playoff career high 25 points. By the half, the Heat that already walked the Celtics down. And then Jimmy Butler nails this deuce to give Miami a 4-point lead as we went into the locker room for intermission, third quarter. Tatum just going right at that Miami defense and coming away with a bucket. JT had 34 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, but he did most of his work through the first three quarters. Miami was just getting started. Bam, trailing, bam, dunking. Other end, Butler trying to guard Tatum to no avail. It's Boston up by 4. And then more Boston. It's Grant Williams, who hadn't played a lot this series. He got a lot of clock in this one. Nice find to Robert Williams, who scores. And then Grant's gonna nail the three. Shout out my Vol for life, but this was probably his biggest mistake. He's feeling himself, talking a little trash to Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy B made him pay. On the other end, it's Butler with the and one. And he said, don't you ever talk trash to me. You know I'm him, right? You not him, I'm him. Poor Grant Williams, then fired Jimmy Butler up, and now he's got to guard a guy that's playing out of his mind right now, and it didn't work in game two. Butler ties the game up at 100 with a mid-range jump shot, and then more Butler going right at Grant. And you were talking to me? No, you were really talking to me? Chest to chest, man to man is what you put in the gym versus what Jimmy Butler put in the gym, and right now, no one wants that smoke. Miami's up 3 with 100 seconds to go. Look at Butler get in there and take a charge on Tatum. Don't tell me how bad you want this. Show me. And right now, nobody's working harder than Butler. Heat trying to put game two away. They get a big 2 from Gabe Vincent. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, the 2 seed out east is down 2 games to zip. Jimmy says they know better. They know better. 111-105 is your final. Adebayo had 22 points, 17 rebounds, and 9 assists. Butler wasn't too shabby himself. He had 27 points. A lot of them came in the fourth. 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Miami in full control of this series as things shift to South Beach. What's up, everybody? It's yours truly. I'm the one and only. I'm Hoops FERRO. If you're enjoying the great quality content, please make sure you hit the channel with a simple subscribe. It's genuinely the best way I show people that we're growing. That's how I feed my family and continue to do great things on this platform and going forward. So please make sure you subscribe to my channel at Hoops FERRO, and then also make sure you enjoy the rest of the video. Get out of here.
Doubled and trapped. Grant Williams free. Good for him. And now he's having words in the ear of Jimmy. Williams defends Butler. A bump, the grind, the gyration, and the 2 in the foul.
And they're having words. Look at this.
That. Nose to nose.
Yeah.
Eye to eye.
If you're going to blame Grant Williams for the Boston Celtics loss, look, be my guest. They're calling it the Grant Williams game. And look, anybody that fires up Jimmy Butler the way he's been playing in the playoffs, you are going to get some blame. You try to go head-to-head, figuratively and literally, with a cold-blooded killer named Jimmy, you are going to get called out and criticized. Look, be my guest. I get it to a degree, but let me say this, and I do got a little bias in this fight. Keep in mind, as I was heading out of the University of Tennessee, Grant Williams was heading in. He gave me one of my favorite seasons as a Vol ever. That team should have won the Natty that year. They were great. For all my Vol fans that tuned into the platform, let me know what year that was a few seasons back. It's my favorite year as a Vol fan. And, you know, Grant's one of my favorite Vols ever. I think he's right behind Chris Lofton and Jordan McRae. are my favorite Vols ever. I interviewed Chris and Jordan. I'm going to try to get Grant. Yo, real quick, I want to say this before we get into the highlight. My goal is to move into a new home really, really soon. And I'm going to have this beautiful home studio that I want to do, and I want to get some guests on. And I know a lot of people that know Grant. I don't know him personally like that. I'm going to try to get Grant on my podcast that I'm getting ready to launch. I just got to move in the house, get some things together. I'm trying to get Grant on this summer. He's one of the guests that I have in mind that I think I can get this summer. I want to talk to him after he makes his free agent decision. With that being said, Grant's one of my favorite Vols ever, all right? So if you're going to give Grant some blame, I get it. He's going to get the blame for this one. But I'm going to keep it a spade with you guys. I'm looking at a lot of other things with Boston right now that are not right, and it's the same things that are not right for them throughout this postseason run. Yes, they beat the Atlanta Hawks. They, literally slipped past the Philadelphia 76ers in 7 games. And in both of those series, we had some lethargic play from Jason Tatum when the games were close and they need him. His highs were very high. His lows were very low. Jaylen Brown seems lost in this Boston offense right now. He seems to be really, really struggling to find those 4 to 5 extra shots he used to get last year before, guys like Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon and others became such intricate pieces to what Boston's trying to do. And last but not least, the guy that I got to give blame to before I give Miami all the credit in the world. Joe Mazzulla, man. You are well on your way. As a first-year head coach, my brother, you are well on your way to finding them exit doors, man. You're going to lose your job over these timeouts, man. Joe, don't be a fan in games. Call the stupid generic timeouts that every other coach in the league does. It works, man. There's actually scientific data that supports this stuff works. The generic blah, blah, blah timeouts, they work. When a team goes on a 7-0 run or greater, just call the timeout, bro. If a team nails a 2-2, then a 3, call the timeout after that 3. If a team turns the basketball over 3 times in a row and the other team scores on the last turnover, just call the timeout. That's just how the NBA works. That's just how it goes. It's generic. Does it get bland? Do you want you guys to play through it sometimes because you believe in you guys, because y'all talked about it? I understand that, but don't lose your job over this. I think it's one thing for the Celtics to lose in the Eastern Conference Finals in Joe's first year. It's another thing for us to constantly be talking about Joe Mazzulla and what seems to be left on the bone versus what Ime Udoka had working in his first year as Celtics head coach last year. Come on, Joe. You looking bad out here. We're talking about these same storylines with Boston over and over again. And I think it's going to cost him his job, man. I really do. Now, before I get out of here, I definitely want to give the Miami Heat some credit. Jimmy Butler, we already know what type of time he's been on. Jimmy's one of those guys that sits right between star and superstardom. So oftentimes he doesn't play the greatest, but we don't call it out because we don't look at him as a superstar. Again, he sits right in between star and superstardom. But when he plays great, we love when Jimmy plays great because he can literally take over a basketball game. He's like, give me the ball, get out of the way. Whatever I come with, usually it's going to be better than what you could come up with. And Jimmy is getting to his spots to a T in this series and making life miserable for the Boston Celtics, who just refuse to consistently double him or keep Malcolm Brogdon on him. That's the reality of where we're at with it. The Miami Heat have guys that are just capable of making shots and stretches. Sometimes it's Max Strus, who, by the way, if I'm Miami, I don't care what it takes. I'm signing him. I'm getting rid of Tyler Hero and or Duncan Robinson this offseason to keep Max Strus. He's the one. And then you look at guys like Kyle Lowry, who, when Jimmy comes out of the game, when Jimmy comes off the ball, he is commanding that offense. This is what Miami thought they were getting when they signed Kyle a couple seasons back. Bam Adebayo has been a serviceable second option. He's been, just playing hard, hanging around that rim until his number is called. Pause. And he's been effective for Miami. Some clutch buckets from Bam, by the way, some clutch dunks he's had in pretty much every one of the Heat's last few games. dating back to that New York Knicks series, give Miami credit. They do deserve it. Give them credit. They play hard. Eric Spoelstra has these boys ready to go pretty much every game in the playoffs. How many teams can you say that about not named the Denver Nuggets? That's why it feels like we're on a collision course to these two teams. I said it in the Lakers-Nuggets highlight. I'll say it in this game as well. NBA fans all over, get ready. You're going to be without basketball for a few days because I believe the Boston Celtics may get one of these two games when this series shifts to South Beach, but they ain't getting both. And more likely, Miami's ending this in 5. And if that is the case, you're going to be without basketball for a few days because the finals don't start to June 1. I mean, we're still over a week to go in May. You know, give credit where credit is due. Miami has balled out and taken 2 games in Boston as this series shifts to South Beach.